Welcome back to the show, everybody. You are now tuned in to the Relationship Theater. I'm your host, Cornell Dane. And tonight's show is going to be a departure. You know, so far we've really been emphasizing the guidelines and signposts and criteria for dynamism within a relationship. The things that allow for growth and change and rapid productivity within a relationship, and how to identify those things, how to make sure two people are on the same page, which is important, how to figure out people's primary intentions and how to compromise and those kinds of things. But tonight it's going to be slightly different. Tonight is going to be about how to recognize, or a couple of ways to recognize that someone may be abusive or manipulative in a relationship. And these are early signs, by the way. This is not for someone who is, and well, maybe, I guess you could apply it, but this is not intended to be for someone who is in a long-standing relationship with someone else and they are being abused or manipulated. I think at that point, the psychological damage could be different, obviously. You may not even know you're in that type of a situation, or it may be very difficult to get out of at that point. So this is not for that person. This is for the person who is beginning to date someone and they're looking for the red flags that we're going to discuss right now. And this is, just so you know, just to preface everything, this is going to be geared towards women more so than men. And the reason why that is because, one, I see it happening. I see manipulation and abuse directed more towards women from men than I do women. See it from women directed towards men. Did I get that right? I see it more from men towards women than women towards men. All right. So that's one. Number two, I see a lot of women out here who are dating, seriously dating, and they don't have any covering. Scary, man. Scary. They're dating other grown men who they're dating other grown men who are, I don't want to say they're dangerous, but they're dating other men who are strangers. These are men that they're having a hard time getting to know sometimes, or they haven't gotten to know just yet. And no one knows that they're in the relationship, or they're dating, or they're in partnership, whatever it is. No one else from this woman's background, from this woman's network, no one else knows this man, has met this man, and has been able to really vet this man to see if he is a person of high character, or not a serial killer, or all that kind of stuff. And crazy, and a drug addict. So because of that, I think the red flags are more important for women than they are for men. Imagine you have daughters. Man, you want your daughters to entrust you with some of that responsibility. That's a burden that a lot of women are carrying alone, and it's just, in a sense, it's heartbreaking that women have to do that. But so because of that, I think this is more important information for women than it is for men, even though men can apply some of this information as well. This is very general information. I'm just speaking more towards women. So the very first thing that is a red flag, or one of the things that's a red flag, because there aren't a whole bunch of them that I would pay attention to early on. But early on, you're in the honeymoon phase. Everything is hot and heavy and powerful, right? The attraction, the magnetism, the electricity is all just, it's powerful. It's potent. And sometimes it can be difficult to get to know the person because of that power. Some people might even say that if you're doing it a lot, it can be suffocating, the amount of affection, to the point where it could be false affection. Okay? It could be something that the person is using to control or manipulate you, whether it's to get in your wallet, whether it's to get you to run drugs. I don't know. I'm just making some of this stuff up because I'm assuming that many of you are more responsible than this. But these are just examples. It's to get you to do something. And not only that, it's to get you to agree to something. Okay? To get you to agree to something. It's the agreement that matters. It's the first step, maybe in a line of chess moves. It could be the first move of 7 to get you here, to doing something that you absolutely would not do. It's something that's completely out of your character. Right? So take a step back when this happens. Look at things for what they are objectively and try to assess, like, is this real affection? Is this person using affection to get me to do other things? Now, I wouldn't necessarily say it was abuse, but it could be manipulation in that sense. Right? Could be a manipulation. The other thing that I see often is when a person tries to isolate you from friends, family, your network, for whatever reason. And as I said before, I alluded to this. This is one of the reasons why the emphasis is more on females or women than it is for men. This advice is because there are some men that only, like, if they meet you and your father is around, they are intimidated by that. Think back. I mean, we're kind of taught this. Think about the girls that we used to try and date when we were in high school, middle school. You know, we were going over there when their parents weren't around. We never introduced ourselves to their parents. I went out on dates with women. Never met her parents. Never shook her father's hand. My father, I come from a 2-parent household, but my father never really involved himself to that degree to really let me know that this was important. But imagine me, a 14-year-old boy, I'm trying to sneak in this man's house who puts food on the table. He's out working, puts food on the table. I'm trying to sneak in the basement and have sex with his daughter at 14 years old. This man has the right to kill me. Let's be honest. Let's be completely honest, right? Are you kidding me? And so there's a lack of respect for those boundaries when the man is not around. It's always been like that. Okay? It's always been like that. And some guys, like myself, I'm talking about from the age of 14, 12, whatever it is, when people begin their journey of promiscuity and fornication, we are looking for the easy target. And the easy target are those women that are uncovered. Heck, this happens even with people who are looking for young people. Okay? They're looking for the easy target, the low-hanging fruit. And the low-hanging fruit, single parent. Low-hanging fruit, mama works all the time, father works all, whatever it is. Low-hanging fruit, their parents are relaxed. Low-hanging fruit, mama bought her birth control. You know, that kind of thing. That's for that age. But in our age, when you get in your 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, we're looking for, people are looking for, not we, men might be looking for someone who doesn't have much of a network, doesn't have a lot of friends or friendships, someone who's busy. and someone whose parents live far away. Imagine that too. There are a lot of women who might be from Virginia and they go to school in California. They kind of settle there by themselves. Not to say they're incapable. It's just that they don't have any covering. There's no one watching their back. And no one can get there in time if something goes wrong or awry. So, like I said, when this happens and somebody sees that in you, they may try to infringe on your independence. They try and infringe on your boundaries. I just did a video not too long ago about immigration. But it was more towards what men were feeling, potentially. But in this case, they storming the beaches. You know what I mean? They've burned the boats when they know that you're unaware. I'm getting this. I'm taking this. And there have been all kinds of things where women have been raped by a nice guy. Once that man finds out that there's no man there to protect you, overpowers you. Women that have been taken advantage of, women that have been in quote what they believe to be committed relationships. They just never read the signs that this person wasn't completely committed. They were just really, going only as far as they needed to in order to get what they wanted out of that relationship. They had no intent on being in a dynamic, strong, successful marriage. But it takes a while for some people to realize that. And you can go on for years like that. Right? But back to the point, they see that vulnerability, they act on it, and they use that to kind of quell whatever independence and whatever boundaries you have. They try and erase those, take over, and they try and influence your decisions. And I can give you a couple examples. One example was, I knew of a woman who was going to make a very, very large investment. And this new partner of hers, who was a very intelligent man, tried to dissuade her. Now, they weren't at the level where he had any sort of power over her decision making, but he tried to dissuade her, and in the end, he broke up with her because she did not take his advice. I know of another situation, different situation, where there was a man who was upset that this woman was having conversations with family members or her father. Let's just say her father. Think about that. She shares something, hey daddy, that such and such happened and I'm worried about it. What do you think? Father gives advice, she takes that advice and she shares it with partner. Partner says, what the hell are you doing? Talking to your father about this is between us. This is what we do. And it wasn't, believe me, it wasn't anything confidential or anything like that. This, if I gave you the exact thing, I just don't want to, implicate anybody, but it was just a means of controlling her decisions, a means of infringing on her boundaries and, making her feel ashamed, getting her to mistrust her own instincts, getting her to overthink and doubt, that the relationship was going to continue, that he was still interested. It was a manipulation tactic. So those are the two things that I'm most concerned about when someone is in a new relationship. I've seen it time and time again, especially the second one. I've seen it many, many times. Person just identifies you as a mark. Oh, there ain't nobody coming to look for them. And every year, and this, not to say it doesn't happen to men, but every year people go missing. Every year. They never find out what happened to this person. We've got OnlyFans models and things strippers. You know, these are women who are uncovered. Not to say the lifestyle part is one thing, right? But it's not like strippers are going home to mama and daddy. These women are alone, and there are people stalking these women. You know, aside from someone who's trying to be their lover, but just something I want the women out there to think about. Manipulation is a tough thing to deal with. Abuse is a tough thing to deal with. Pick up your red flag. You know, don't collect them, as Steve Harvey says. If you see these red flags early on, get the hell on. You got to go. Okay? So that's going to be my talk for tonight. I hope it was helpful. If you found any value whatsoever in this conversation with me tonight, please feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and also share something in the comment section with me. I'm looking for more topics. If there's anything that you'd like me to maybe speak on, I'd be honored to do so. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the very next video. Peace.